sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
It's a Saturday night in Miami as the Atlanta Braves face off with the Miami Marlins. Last night, JT Realmuto and Starlin Castro brought out the big sticks and powered Miami's offense to a 6-3 victory. Game 3 is upon us as two bright young arms duel under the lights in an NL East showdown. Soroka and the Braves, Garcia and the Marlins, next on Fox Sports Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Miami, third of a four-game series between the first-place Atlanta Braves and the Miami Marlins. Should be a fun night at the ballpark tonight. It is Star Wars night, so there's going to be a lot of costumes. Kids, adults, everything in between. We got stormtroopers that may be even going to run the show at some point tonight. Yeah, that's actually kind of how we feel on most nights. I don't know, it's going to be an awful lot of fun, no question about it. And with that, we are glad you're with us up here in the broadcast booth. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, a win last night for the Marlins, so they've evened up the first two games of this four-game series against the Braves, but they have yet to truly slow down Ozzie Albies, who has 2 home runs in this series, and he's tied for tops in the National League.
And I'll tell you what, 12 home runs on the season. We continue to see his power out of the top spot in, leadoff spot. He's there again tonight. You're going to control this young man. He is on fire. And it's the slugging percentage that I think we end up raving about. We see the swing, the extension, the easy pass through the zone, and the ball flying out. Now, the Marlins have seen that in this series. They'd love to contain it tonight.
Well, we saw his 11th the other night. That was the grand slam. And then his 12th last night to, again, get him to the top of the National League leaderboard. Now, on the Marlins side of things, well, they had some home runs as well, including JT Realmuto and Starlin Castro last night.
So good to see JT swinging the bat at home. Again, the numbers down, generally speaking, last year. He's off to a great start, so he's going to have what we're going to go out there on an early limb, an all-star type start to his season in Starlin Castro. How about it? First home run at Marlins Park in a Marlins uniform. Great to see. Good extension there, by the way, 427 feet.
Right, 2 of the most consistent bats in this lineup for the Marlins, certainly since JT Realmuto has been back. A triple shy of the first Marlins cycle, the 7th time that he has been a 3-base hit short of the cycle.
Yeah, no surprise there. JT's a tremendous athlete. I'll say it right now, probably the best athlete on the Marlins, one of the best athletes in the game of baseball, can do just about everything on a field. And I think what's probably more surprising, not that JT doesn't have a cycle yet himself, is that the Marlins don't have a cycle in their history. How about it? Over 4,000 games. We'll see, but JT's been swinging a hot bat.
How about the bullpen? Bullpen has certainly stepped up as of late. They helped to finish off the win last night in relief of Dan Straley. Much more to come. We check in with Craig and Nelly on the other side of the break. few weeks. Let's go back out to center field. Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, they've been very good in the back end in particular. When the Marlins have a lead, they seem to have things set up. And you saw it last night, and that went to the 6th inning last night with Tazawa leading the way.
Well, you knew Straley wasn't going to give you more than 5. I mean, he only threw, that was his 3rd start. But the bullpen was going to play a big part in this game, and they did. And Tazawa really threw a nice inning. 2 strikeouts, 2.31 ERA at home. Guerrero, 100 miles an hour right there on the strikeout of Albies. And then Barraclough, nice clean inning by him. He gets that out. And then Brad Ziegler. Congratulations, Brad Ziegler, right there, his 5th save of the season, but more importantly, his 100th of his career. Outstanding pitching job last night by the Marlins.
And now we look ahead to tonight's starters. Mike Soroka is only 20 years old. He faces Harlan the Marlin, Harlan Garcia.
Well, got roughed up a little bit by the Giants his last start, but it was all control and mostly his breaking ball. He's a fastball, curveball, slider change. Stays around 94, but he'll hit 97. This guy has no fear. The Braves really are happy with this guy and the way he goes about his business. And then how about Garcia? Garcia, you know, forget about your last start. You have pitched outstanding so far. Forget about it. Go out and get him tonight, even up the series.
All right, big part of the series, game 3 of this 4-game series. Braves and the Marlins are coming up. We'll have all the action with Paul and Holly next on Fox Sports Florida.
Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. Star Wars night at Marlins Park. We'll see plenty of costumes throughout the evening. Those young and old fans of the very popular Star Wars franchise. How about this guy, a star in the making? Ozzie Albies at the top of this order. This is a terrific order, top to bottom. Certainly the top 5 are great, and they get off to hot starts. First in the National League, 37 first inning runs. Harlan Garcia is ready, and the first pitch is slowly chopped to third. Martin Prado on the run, retires Albies. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Now, good start to tonight's ball game for Harlan Garcia. His 6th start of the season, 2.68 ERA. Well, most of it's all about that last start, really seeing what Harlan Garcia brings to the table tonight. Now, going back to last night, Dan Straley did a real nice job of mixing his pitches. That's going to be important for Garcia as well tonight, as the Atlanta Braves are one of the best offenses in baseball against left-handed pitching.
Ronald Acuna Jr. takes outside, a ball and no strikes. He's 1 for 9 in the series, 2 for 16 with a home run on the road trip, and a ground ball right to Starlin Castro, who was on the shortstop side of the bag, and there are 2 away.
I'm going to hurry up and give you the Marlins defense
Quicker.
Before this inning ends. Brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dietrich gets the start in left field. Brinson in center, Anderson in right. Prado, Rojas, Starlin at second, Bohr at first. Real Muto behind the plate for Harlan Garcia.
Here's Freddie Freeman, drills one to right center field, and that one is gone. Off the facade of the second deck, and the Braves with another first inning run. They lead it 1-0.
Now 3 pitches in, the Atlanta Braves are on the scoreboard. No surprise, Freddie Freeman. Strong numbers against the lefties. First Garcia, 3 for 6. Coming into tonight, Harlan had only given up a couple of hits to a left-handed bat. Both of those were singles to Odubel Herrera. Well, that has now changed. You see a first pitch fastball turned around, no doubter. Freddie Freeman off the facing of the upper deck.
6 for 9 in the series with a couple of home runs. Here's Nick Markakis. Spins away from that one, a ball and no strikes. Markakis 4 for 9, an RBI, a double. No shock there. And 3 RBIs in the series.
Well, I have to admit, I'm not at all surprised at the Atlanta Braves offensive game plan here in the first inning to attack Garcia based on his last start. Six hits allowed in the Cubs game, right? We've talked about it. He gave up 3 home runs. Get this, Marlins fans. All right, all 6 hits came on his fastball. Well, when do you see the most predictable fastball? First inning. Atlanta Braves have come out swinging the bats.
A 1-2 now to Markakis, a swing and a miss. For the first time in about 17 at-bats, Markakis has a swing and a miss. Freeman did not. A home run makes it 1-0. Braves a 1-0 lead, but plenty of time to erase that deficit for the Marlins, who have JT Realmuto at the top of this lineup. They tied a season high 14 hits last night, and JT had himself a very nice night. 3 for 5, a home run, a double, a single, a triple shy of the cycle, the 7th time that he has been a triple shy of the cycle, as Mike Soroka deals the first pitch. And that one is away for ball one. Well, another youngster for the Atlanta Braves as he makes his third big league start.
Well, how about this? Youngest pitcher in Major League Baseball to make a start this season. Soroka, the young Canadian's got a good live arm. Sinker, four-seamer, slurve, and a change. He's very, very aggressive. 2 starts this season. One really good versus the Mets, 6 innings, 1 earned run. His last one against the Giants, not so good. It's a pretty good look at the sinker right there. It's got a little run and sink as well. 94, heavy pitch.
4 for 9 in the series with the home run. I mentioned the 3 hits last night. 32nd 3-hit game for Real Muto since 2016. As he goes down looking for the first out tonight.
Yeah, there's the slurve as I just mentioned. All right, scout Soroka tonight. Brought to you by Auto Nation. The Braves minor league pitcher of the year in 2017. He dominated Double-A. That's what's gotten him here. 2.75 ERA. How about this? 9 starts in which he didn't walk a batter in Double-A last year. That's absolutely outstanding. Now, plate discipline for the Marlins. I think much like last night going up against McCarthy, you've got to get him in the zone. Soroka has at times will work his fastball into the zone and out of the zone. What I mean by that, I've even heard him say it. It was actual quote. He wants to go with the four-seam fastball at times to a certain spot and then throw the sinker right at that same spot and have it explode out of the strike zone. Get hitters to chase. So plate discipline going to be very, very important. Get a load of this, Paul. 7 of the 8 strikeouts have actually come on pitches outside of the strike zone. And he is a reverse splits guy. Hit right-handed hitters, 467 here in the early going. Again, small sample size, only a couple of starts, 1 home run allowed.
Called strike to Martin Prado, who was 0 for 3 in last night's ball game, but did draw a walk. Last 10 games against the Braves, hitting .325.
Well, here's a pretty good look. The movement he has on his fastball.
Eight pitches, 6 strikes. I know it's early, but he was not nearly as effective over the course of his last outing. 49 strikes on 84 pitches.
Well, the Atlanta Braves love this young man. He's only 20 years old. You can make the call. You can make the argument, hey, why wouldn't you give him some more seasoning in the minor leagues? They love his makeup. They continue to rave about it. He's a bulldog. He has that mentality. He loves to attack the strike zone, and this is why the Braves have him up at the major league level.
And back-to-back strikeouts.
Now, same pattern as you saw against JT Realmuto. You saw the heavy sinker, four-seamer, and then the big slurve. Let's give you the Braves defensively for tonight's game, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Acuna Jr. in left, Inciarte in center, Markakis in right, Batista back over at third base, Camargo at short, Albies and Freeman. Flowers behind the plate, getting his first start in this series. With Soroka on the mound.
Starlin Castro takes low and away. Castro 1 for 4 last night. Got himself a home run, couple of RBIs. 41 hits. Just outside the top 10 in the National League. 2-0. Well, only 3 big league starts, this one included, for Soroka. But last year, talked about his youth. Sure, youth in the major leagues. How about in the minor leagues? Over 5 years younger than the average Southern League pitcher last year. That is unbelievable. So advanced beyond his years, as it were.
The interesting part of his story is that you'd say, oh, okay, somebody with this much polish, this much poise.
Dribbler
Slow roller
to third. Bautista infield single.
Well, you'll anticipate seeing the ball on the ground probably a little bit tonight with the heavy sink. Starling hits right over the top. Slow roller to third base. Going to beat it out at first base for the Marlins' first hit. Just getting back to Soroka. You know, his makeup is clearly what's gotten him here.
Bautista, of course, played so much right field with the Toronto Blue Jays. Back over at third this year. Played a little bit of third last year as Justin Bour takes outside. Bautista third base last year 8 times. 4 starts. This year 394 career games at third base. 0 for 4. 4 walks in the series for Justin Bour. He has been taking the free pass as of late. At least 2 walks in 4 straight games.
24 walks in 36 games on the season. Now he set a career high last year with 47. He is well on his way, already past the halfway mark in only 36 games. Of course, last year he did it in 108 games.
Time in between walks, so inside of every 6 at-bats or 6 plate appearances, Justin Bour draws the walk. Line drive, right field, base hit. Castro turns to third. Markakis will just throw it to the center of the diamond, and the Marlins have runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Now nice 2-strike approach. Stayed simple, stayed inside the baseball. It's down, crush it off the barrel. But a really nice swing. It's on time. Clean base hit. Starlin off on contact with 2 outs in the inning. Easily gets the third.
So runners on first and third for Brian Anderson. Anderson 1 for 4 with a run scored, a stolen base last night. A .344 hitter this season with runners in scoring position.
I mentioned it real quickly when going through the AutoNation scouting report. I'll mention it again. Again, small sample size. Soroka, lefties hitting .240 against him. Righties .467 with a home run. Some big production from the right side of the plate.
Falling behind, 2 balls and no strikes to Anderson. Reached base in 8 consecutive games. One just missed. Castro at third, he singled. Bour at first, he singled. Marlins looking for a 2-out rally against the youngster. Anderson, left center field, and that one is off the wall. Castro will walk in. Bour to third. He gets held up, and RBI double for Brian Anderson, coming through with runners in scoring position again. This double ties it.
Now back-to-back base hits. Starlin Castro gets it started with the infield single. Classic 2-out rally. Nice job. Now here's one thing. You can throw the sinker all you want. If you're going to leave it up at the top of the zone, things like this will continue to happen. Great swing, leveled off at the belt, and just missed a 3-run homer by that much.
2 feet, max.
Max. Great swing.
Already the 9th double this season for Brian Anderson. And now Derek Dietrich. So a quick answer for the Marlins after the Freeman home run in the top of the inning. This one just foul. That one would have driven into.
Dietrich starting to get his groove back. There are a few games, some offensive struggles. Nice ball game last night. 3 hits, scored a run. He's the middle of the field, went the other way, hit against the shift. Good to see Dietz get his swing going again.
The RBI for Anderson, number 19. That is now best on this club. 1 ahead of Bour, who's at third, and 1 ahead of Castro, who scored. The 0-1. In the dirt, gets away from Flowers. But he got to it quick. And Bour had to stay put at third base.
Missed well up in front of home plate. A whole lot going right. Justin Bour certainly You got to know it right away, and sometimes that can be a tough read where the ball is in relation to the catcher. And if you don't have that instantaneous read, you got to hold up.
So the Braves catch a break on the wild pitch. At least the pitch that got away from Flowers. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Dietrich.
Well, both starters raced out to 2 outs in the first inning before giving up some damage.
Three consecutive 2-out hits for the Marlins. Dietrich, after a 3-hit night last night, we'll see a 1-2. And Soroka with 3 strikeouts in the inning. But the Marlins with 3 consecutive hits, including an RBI double from Brian Anderson. Brian Anderson's team-leading 19th RBI has tied things up as we go to the top of the 2nd inning. Braves and Marlins. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth with you. 3rd game of a 4-game series. Harlan Garcia back to even after giving up the solo home run to Freddie Freeman in the 1st. He'll see Jose Bautista, Ender Inciarte, and Tyler Flowers here in the 2nd. First pitch swinging for Bautista, takes a big hop on Rojas at short. Not sure if that hit the lip, but he stuck with it nonetheless. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Watch the high bounce. Whew. Jumped over Miguel Rojas' head. Nice job making an adjustment.
Quick reactions, retire Bautista, and here is Ender Inciarte. That one off the edge to Inciarte. 3 for 9 in the series, 5 for 17 for the Braves on their road trip. 5 hits in 13 at-bats on the heels of a 0 for 19, which was the longest hitless stretch of his career.
Now, it's pretty apparent to me, watching the Atlanta Braves and their approach here in the early going, that they are not very interested in letting Harlan Garcia get to his secondary pitches. Now, going back to the Cubs start, the last 7 base hits he's given up have all been on his fastball. As he walks Inciarte on 4 pitches. Here's why. His changeup, 136 batting average against, and his slider 050. So if Harlan can get there, he can use those secondary pitches well.
So with Inciarte on first, here's Tyler Flowers. Yeah, I was looking at the numbers for Garcia's last start against the Chicago Cubs. And he threw, let's see here, he threw 42 four-seam fastballs. No swings and misses. So I'm thinking, okay, that's maybe an oddity. He's been very effective. He's done that 2 other times this year. And I guess that speaks to, you kind of answered it before I even asked it, was how has he been so effective if he's not being great or they're not missing the fastball? But his secondary stuff is so good.
It's imperative that his fastball is on the corners, and that's what he's got to do tonight. We talked throughout the game against the Chicago Cubs where he was missing with his fastball, up, out over the plate, in the zone, and elevated. That's a no-go zone, and you just backed it up with all of those numbers. So what does he have to do? He's got to stay on the corners with the fastball and start using those secondary pitches. Dan Straley used 50% secondary pitches last night. Did a pretty decent job of keeping these guys in check.
Flowers doesn't bite. It's a ball and a strike. They, of course, keeping Inciarte close at first base. Leads the major leagues with 16 steals. Flowers out to right field. Anderson in, but that one falling fast. And Inciarte is going to go to third, and he's going to get waved around. It got away from Anderson. Now the throw to second, not in time. A misplay in right field, and Inciarte has the wheels to come around to score from first. It's 2-1 Braves.
Well, always a dangerous play for an outfielder to go after a baseball while it's moving barehanded. Don't want to do it because you run this risk. And I know because it's not hit hard, you think, okay, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to make a quick throw as he kind of backs up on him a little bit. Regardless, you still want to use the glove. As soon as the bare hand happens, it gets by. It's going to allow Inciarte to score easily. Inciarte got a pretty good read. He knows that's a dead zone right there. He's well on his way to third base. Really no reason to go to the bare hand when you think about it. Inciarte was thinking third. You just want to keep the ball in front.
So here's Johan Camargo with the Braves back in front by a run. And Real Muto is going to go talk to Garcia. Been a cross up on that one. The runner at second base. Yeah. So for Flowers, a single, an E9, no RBI, but a run scored nonetheless. And now Camargo, the number 8 hitter in the Braves lineup. 2 for 6 in this series. 2 for 13 on the road trip for Atlanta. To Prado. Looks the runner back and gets out number 2. Garcia's given up 2 runs tonight. 4 starts prior to his last, which was certainly not his best of the season. He'd allowed just 2 runs and 1 home run across 23 innings. But in his start against the Chicago Cubs, 4 innings, 7 earned runs, and 3 home runs. Now his counterpart, Mike Soroka, takes a called strike. Even though Garcia got beat up by the Cubbies his last time out, entering this one, opposing hitters 164 against him this season. Been incredibly effective.
Well, and again, it gets back to how good his fastball has been on the corners. I mean, again, this is, let's remember, I mean, it's a great point talking about contact on the fastball. But if he's still putting his fastball where it needs to be, he's either getting bad contact most of the time or it's a foul ball. It's allowing him to get to those great secondary pitches. The mistake of the Cubs series, again, was pitches out over the plate and up, and really no slider to go along with it. So far tonight, he's been actually pretty good other than the fastball to Freeman. Of course, that was the third pitch of the game.
Yeah, he got a couple of quick outs in that first inning, couple of ground balls, and then the home run for Freeman. Came back with a strikeout. One pitch, one out here in the second inning. But then he walked in Ciarte, who came around to score on the single and E9. A line drive caught by Bohr. Braves getting one in the top of the second. Marlins down a run again to the bottom of the second. Star Wars night here at the yard, so plenty of costumes, masks, sorts of Star Wars paraphernalia around. Soroka now a 2-1 lead to work with. Marlins came back with one in the bottom of the first inning. We'll see if they could do that again against the youngster. It will be Miguel Rojas, Lewis Brinson, and Harlan Garcia. 7, 8, and 9. Brian Anderson an RBI double in this ball game, but also a bit of a misplay out in right field that led to the Braves' second run. So Rojas 3 for 4 in last night's ball game. 9 for 19, couple of doubles, a triple, 2 RBIs in his last 5 games against Atlanta. And he takes a called strike. 3 for 8 in this series as he continues to hit at this ballpark. He's a hit in 16 of 20 games at home this season. 282 hitter here at Marlins Park. Settling in quite nicely to that everyday shortstop role. Of course, the power numbers way up.
Good slider by Soroka. It's been an effective pitch. He came in tonight pretty convinced he needed to use his slurve. There's actually 5 for 12 against it coming into tonight's ballgame.
This one out to right field. Markakis for the first out. Time now for our Toyota Inside Look. Talked about all the youth on this Braves team right now. How about the youngest pitchers to start against Miami? Julio Urias of the Dodgers, same age when he made his start against the Marlins. Jordan Lyles of the Houston Astros going back to 2011. But Mike Soroka, the youngest starting pitcher in the big leagues. One low to Lewis Brinson. Brinson's got exactly 1 hit in each of his last 4 games. It's a 4-game hit streak for him. And this one out to center field in Ciarte. And there are 2 away.
Come join us at the Clevelander Marlins Park on Saturday, May 26th. Sample more than 20 different domestic and international brews. Tickets start at just $30 when the Marlins take on the Nationals. Plus, you'll get early access to the party at the Clevelander at Marlins Park. Purchase your tickets at marlins.com/beerfest.
2 fly balls for Soroka, and now Harlan Garcia swings at the first one and lines that one into the seats. So the double for Brian Anderson came off the bat at 110 miles an hour. There were, going back to his last start, by the way, for Soroka, 2 of the 7 singles he surrendered, an exit velocity that was less than 83.5. 1 an exit velocity over 95.
Yep.
So missing barrels. I think it's fair to say.
Most of the hits he gave up in his last start lacked significant velocity, is what I had in my notes.
This one did not. Certainly. 110 off the bat, a couple of feet shy of a home run, as Soroka now has 4 strikeouts, 3 up, 3 down in the 2nd. Welcome back. Braves with a 2-1 lead as they go to the top of the 3rd inning. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth with you up here inside the broadcast booth, and we are not alone. Got some stormtroopers up here on Star Wars night. I'm a little intimidated right now.
You should be.
I am.
They work for the dark side.
That's right. I asked a question, how you doing, and immediately you put me in my place. They don't talk.
No response.
None.
I was afraid the handcuffs might come out when they walked in.
Marlins fans, yes or no? Okay. All right.
You thought I was kidding.
All right. Braves fans, yes or no? All right. That's all I got.
I'll tell you, these are absolutely elaborate costumes. Fantastic.
I know.
Absolutely. Well done.
I know.
Both of you.
I feel like I should be on my best behavior right now, and I think I am. I'm a little nervous.
I tend to agree with you. You should be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
I'm a little intimidated right now. They don't talk. You know, sometimes
No.
silence is intimidating. I'm getting a little nervous.
Yeah, right.
Now, you and I are, you know, we talk a lot, right?
We talk. That's kind of our job. Ozzie Albies with a fly ball out to shallow center field. Starlin Castro puts it away. And that is out number 1
now,
here in the 3rd.
I have a question, and you don't have to respond, but who's the senior here? Like, who's the boss of who? You're not the boss. You're the boss. You're the boss of him. And you do what he tells you to do. Okay, good. Just curious.
Have you guys had cafecito? Have you had cafecito tonight? You did. You had cafecito. Okay, fantastic. See? There you go.
Well done.
Here's Ronald Acuna Jr. grounded out to the left side of the infield, but to the second baseman Starlin Castro back in the first inning. Here's another one. You guys taking care of your mom for Mother's Day tomorrow? Now that you see, there you go. Even the troopers have mothers.
There you go.
See,
yeah.
You got to know where your bread's buttered, ladies and gentlemen. Got to take care of mom.
Is Darth Vader okay with you guys taking the day off tomorrow? He's
No.
not. So it's a work day. Ah, I see. Well, that would be a problem, I guess, then, huh?
1-2 to Acuna Jr. He fouls it straight back. Have you seen the new Star Wars film, Solo? Or are you in it? Or how does that work? You haven't seen it yet?
No.
No?
Well, that's not out in theaters yet, so.
Well, you don't think they know somebody that could give them a free showing, an advanced screening?
I guess I didn't consider that.
I figure they could put in a call somewhere. There's got to be a cell phone on this guy somewhere.
Well, since you brought it up, I mean, you know, obviously all the Star Wars movies and everything, nobody's ever done like a movie about you guys. I mean, is that fair? It doesn't seem fair to me. I mean, it's always about all the good guys, right? Han Solo, they make him a movie. Luke Skywalker, Last Jedi, they make him a movie, right?
Yeah.
What about you guys? You guys interested? Call your agent? Yeah, I'm with you.
How many Star Wars films have there been?
1,000.
10, 15, and not yet one?
8, I think.
8? There's been 8?
I think that sounds
8
right.
more 8? Yeah.
Feels right.
Okay. It's Freddie Freeman. Hit one into a galaxy far, far away.
Wow.
In his first at bat. Does that work?
Fourth pitch of the game.
Yeah. This was it. This was liftoff.
Apparently the galaxy ends at drive sober or don't get pulled over. Because that is the signage in the upper deck. Yeah, that's where he hit it. Both home runs of this series have come on the first pitch.
You guys have a favorite Star Wars film? A favorite Star Wars film? Rogue One. There you go.
Makes sense.
1-2 pitch to Freeman is fouled away. Do you have a favorite Star Wars film, Holly?
Return of the Jedi, I would probably say would be my favorite.
Yeah.
You're all right with that? Is that good? It's a good one.
Yeah, don't upset the guys.
Well, I didn't want to play my hand.
No,
but,
of course.
you know, I mean, I'm kind of pulling for the good side.
Play it safe. Natural. This one out to left field. Derek Dietrich is there to put it away. All right, well, we appreciate it. Stay safe. All right, we'll talk soon, okay?
Nice
Can
to
we
meet
do
you
that?
guys.
We can't do that? We can do that? Okay, sweet. Nice. All right, okay, fantastic. There you go. Back to Miami
Travel safe.
in just a bit. conversation with those gentlemen. Gentlemen, right? I assume.
Very, very grateful for the 7-pitch Arlen Garcia 3rd inning.
JT Realmuto takes ball 1.
Found that most of that conversation was one-sided.
It kind of was, yeah. Yeah. So look at your Toyota trend, a triple shy of the cycle, and if he had gotten a 3-base hit, it would have been the first triple in Marlins franchise history. We might test it here. Maybe not. That's going to get down into left nonetheless. Realmuto into second base as Acuna Jr. overran the ball. We'll see how they score it. Either way, Realmuto is on at second base.
A great swing of the bat. I'd like to see the early aggressiveness. There's one little nugget that kind of stood out, kind of assessing Soroka coming into tonight's ball game. Hitters 4 for 4 on the first pitch. JT jumped all over it. Rips it into left field.
Forgot the baseball. They're going to call that one a double, so it's the 4th of the season for Realmuto. 1 for 2 tonight. Here is Martin Prado. Well, in the first inning of last night's ball game, this is how it started. Realmuto with a double, and Prado hit one to the right side, setting up a run. See if the situational hitting is as buttoned up tonight as it was last night.
Well, certainly
Martin Prado.
with the effort on the first pitch of the at-bat, Martin Prado definitely thinking about going to the right side. Really pulled his hands in on a sinker.
That one misses outside, a ball and a strike. Prado struck out in the first inning, one of 4 strikeouts through the first 3+ innings for the youngster Mike Soroka. Rave reviews, I believe, on our Stormtrooper interview. One friend that just sent me a text and said that I'm such a hack. So, you know, there's that.
Sorry, I couldn't pick you up better, pal. That's all I got for you.
Do our best. We'll keep to the sinkers and sliders and leave the Stormtroopers to somebody else.
I don't do good with the one-sided conversations.
Really? You're a real chatterbox when I'm asleep on the plane. Prado to the right side, moves Realmuto to third. And here's a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Well, the double and the productive out to the right side.
Nice job by Martin Prado. He was choked up about 2 inches on the bat. Got the job done. Atlanta Braves have pulled the infield in. Cut off this run, certainly knowing Soroka can get the ground ball.
Strike to Castro. 62% of the time this year, well above league average. He has driven in the run with a man on third and less than 2 out. Last night the situation was first inning they had the infield back, so the ground ball to short got the job done. He's going to have to get one through the infield here as they check over at first. No swing. Mike Winters, the crew chief, is behind home plate tonight. Tim Timmons at first, Rob Drake at second, and Sean Barber, the umpire, at third. .45th pitch for Soroka is in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike.
As you'd assume, if you can stay ahead, it becomes a bit more predictable. Sinker gets used more and more as the hitter. The hitter can stay in a hitter's count.
Dribbler up the third baseline, and that one drifts foul.
Just as fast as I said it, sequenced a little different. The slurve probably threw Starlin Castro off as well as he taps it down the third base line.
2 balls and 2 strikes. In the infield, even with the bag, maybe a step back. Real Muto on at third after the leadoff double. A swing and a miss. 5th strikeout tonight for Soroka.
Now he continues to expand outside the zone. Talked about it through 2 starts, 7 of the 8 strikeouts, swinging outside the strike zone. This again, slider way off the outside corner.
Now it's only his 3rd big league start, so take this for what it's worth, but he has matched a career high. Frustrated Castro will regroup for defense in the top of the 4th as Justin Bour, part of that 3 consecutive hit 1st inning, looks at ball 1. That got away from Flowers, but not far enough for Real Muto. It's almost like when the ball falls out of your glove on a transfer in the middle of the infield.
Well, he did. Put it between his legs. JT Real Muto, a little bit different than Justin Bour down at 3rd base. I think he sees it. He's going to go. Some great production with 2 outs for the big guy.
He was putting some balls into orbit today during batting practice. Further than Freeman's home run. Now one's BP, one's game action. I get it, but he continues to reach base, whether by walk or hit. Bour's on base percentage is climbing. This one grounded to Freeman. It flips to Soroka, and the 3rd is in the books. Braves have a 2-1 lead here at Marlins Park. This day in Marlins history. How about this? A.J. Burnett, the Marlins' 3rd no-hitter. It wasn't easy, however. A hit by pitch, a wild pitch, 9 walks, and 7 strikeouts. But a no-hitter nonetheless. Charles Johnson, his battery mate that day, 1 for 4, a double, a couple of RBIs. Burnett had himself a double in that one as well. Effectively wild, they say. Very effective. Nick Markakis takes a called strike from Harlan Garcia. Markakis, Bautista, and Inciarte due up here in the fourth. For the first place, Atlanta Braves, who saw their 8-game road win streak put to an end in last night's ball game. Markakis out to left. Dietrich in, sliding, and makes the catch. A sinking line drive, the sliding grab, and there's one away.
A nice job by the Marlins left fielder. Got a good read, good break. Kind of helps. This wasn't a scud missile, but it stayed up long enough. Dietrich got the glove down and the legs out of the way. Well done. Had it right in his hip pocket.
That's right. And thankfully got the wrist out of the way too. As if, I mean, we see the one that sticks out is Hideki Matsui a few years back. Making one of those sliding catches, you get your wrist kind of stuck in the ground. You really hurt yourself. Thankfully, was able to make the play and not get injured. There's Bautista now. A 1-1 pitch. One misses low. Bautista grounded out to shortstop on the first pitch of the at-bat in the second inning. Back at third tonight, hitless in his last 12 at-bats. Straight up. And Prado calls a step in foul ground, but an out nonetheless. Let's go downstairs to Craig.
Paul, talking to hitting coach for the Braves, Kevin Seitzer, he says this is now his 4th year too. He loves homers, but he hates strikeouts. And his team has done a good job this year. They're the second least strikeouts in the National League at 295 overall. That includes the ball game tonight, but well below the NL average by 40. Seitzer says it really has to be with a plan in the zone and going the other way, being comfortable with 2 strikes. And just having a overall game plan when you're in that batter's box. You don't have to give in to the strikeout like many teams do these days. And Seitzer's from the old school. He hates them. And in his tutelage here in his 4 years, they've come down. A few years ago, the Braves were a wild swinging team among the most strikeouts in baseball. Not anymore. They put their bat on the ball. They've been getting a lot of hits this year too.
Put the bat on the ball right there past Justin Bour. And Inciarte is aboard for the second time tonight.
Yeah, I love that. Not this. I certainly love what Craig was talking about. Inciarte, hard contact to the right side. They're going to give him a hit. Pretty good swing. JB to the backhand as it gets underneath his glove. Yeah, talking about Kevin Seitzer, that's kind of the new conversation that we've seen in the game, where the excusing of the strikeouts is not allowed anymore. You got a few teams that are really kind of stepping up and saying, we're not interested in striking out so much. You know, hitting 27 home runs with a 220 batting average and striking out 175 times just isn't cool. It's not okay anymore, right? And I love it. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to the Atlanta Braves, and I understand exactly what Craig's saying, you know, Kevin Seitzer in that conversation, but when you've got 2 veterans in the middle of your lineup who have been doing it for their entire careers, they're the eldest state. You've got Freddie Freeman and you've got Nick Markakis, who have, what was your last stat on Markakis? He'd gone, what, 17 at bats?
17 plate appearances without a swing and a miss.
Without a swing and a miss. And we've watched Freddie obviously throughout his career and certainly in this series. Both have a 2-strike approach. Both hit for some, well, I mean, Markakis is at least this year. He hasn't always hit for power, but you understand my point. It really is about the approach. And when you can lead that way, listen, the young guys, they look up to the hitting coach. They're going to listen, but they're going to look up to the veterans in the lineup every day and do what they're doing.
Well, an out is not an out is not an out. They're not all created equally. That's the thing, right? A strikeout and a ground out are both outs. But a strikeout with a runner on second base compared to a ground out to the right side, as we saw Prado in the bottom of the 3rd inning, that's a different kind of out. That moves a runner. That helps the team. Runner goes. Throw from Rio Muto is not in time. Another stolen base. It's now 17, a major league best for Inciarte.
Well, and if he is safe at second base, that is now 10 for 10. That's right. His last 10 attempts, he's made it. JT, good catch and throw quick. Ooh, pretty close.
Tag looked like it got the knee before the bag move. This might be our best look at it.
And the Marlins want to review it.
Second base umpire Rob Drake right there on top of it. He and the crew chief Mike Winters will get on the headsets, chat things over with New York. Again, the call on the field was safe. So you need clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call. As they look at the big scoreboard in right center field, but it's up to the replay officials in New York.
Out. I think he gets him on the knee just before you see the bag compress.
This might be our most telling look.
You see the force into the bag. Yeah, well, Starling's in the way.
That might be the issue. Let's see the call is safe.
Not enough.
That's what I was going to. I was just about to say. No angle looked clear and convincing. It was close. I think if you looked at that play kind of in a vacuum and just looked at the replays without knowing what the call was, you'd probably say he was out, but that's not how it works. So a stolen base for Inciarte. He's in the scoring position now with 2 outs for Tyler Flowers. Flowers 1 for 4 this season with runners in scoring position. Limited playing time, as it's Kurt Suzuki's everyday job, but Flowers gets the start tonight.
Well, Flowers had an exceptional 2017 season. Career best 281 batting average, 12 homers, 49 RBIs, 380 on base percentage. Yeah, Suzuki has definitely stolen some of that time away behind home plate, but they brought their catching tandem back. Quality job they felt they both did last year.
Inside, ball 4, 2 on, 2 out here in the 4th. Second walk tonight for Harlan Garcia. Now Johan Camargo 0 for 1. Coming into this ball game, Garcia has held opponents 3 hits and runners in scoring position situations. 3 for 24 coming into this one. 6th best mark in the National League among all pitchers. Tonight, Braves 0 for 2. So a base open, even though it's third base. Pitcher on deck.
Well, Soroka's already got a hit this year. I know it was a soft line drive. I guess really what I'm basing it on is the one at bat I saw. He actually has a pretty decent approach for a pitcher. Anticipate Harlan being very careful with Camargo.
Piece, and it's 2-1.
Well, that's the one thing that stood out tonight. I think Harlan has looked obviously much better than he did in the Cubs start. Fastball command much better down in the zone.
Inciarte at second, Flowers at first. Camargo out to center field. Brinson. Soroka will lead off the next inning. Garcia works around a little bit of trouble in the 4th. Still 2-1. Aches and pains, trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by the Lincoln Spring Sales Event. Drive into spring in a new Lincoln. Shots of Miami. Roof closed tonight. Rain in the area. Kind of a cloudy day all over all day long. That's our good pal Kelly Sacco right there. Dressed as a Jedi, I'm told. Not Princess Leia. Leia would have the hair over the ears, right? That's the difference. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, sorry. Anyway, Brian Anderson to lead things off. Derek Dietrich and Miguel Rojas. My whole life, I just.
How has this happened? How do you not have? How do you not have more Star Wars knowledge than? I mean, I don't have a lot, but my goodness.
I've not seen any of them. I'm a little on a Star Wars night. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that. I haven't gotten around to it, and now the films are probably spectacular. They make $80 billion, so clearly I'm missing something. Anderson grounds out for the first out, but like now it's almost like a stupid sense of pride in like, well, I haven't seen it.
How about your son? Well, I'm gonna have a talk with him. I'm gonna get this fixed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna invite him over to my house. He can hang out with all my boys, and then we'll really isolate you on an island. He'll get all into Star Wars, and you'll be like, you won't even be able to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing.
I guess not.
I think we had the stormtroopers up earlier for those that missed it, and I think the cape. Otherwise, I probably would have said, "Oh, good, Darth Vader's here." You know, the black mask and everything else. Like, you know, classic case of good versus evil, though, right? That's pretty much the basis of it.
Good always wins.
Great special effects.
All right. You should take your son to the Solo movie coming out May 27th.
He might go solo. I mean, I don't know. Dietrich strikes out. 6th strikeout. And now a new career high, albeit in 3 starts for Soroka. Hit it out of the park with a family-friendly deal tomorrow when the Marlins take on the Braves at 1 p.m. Pick up the Aquafina Family 4-pack and score 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs, and 4 Pepsi soft drinks or Aquafina waters. Starting at just $84. Get your tickets at marlins.com/offers.
Soroka has, for the most part, stayed to the pattern. You see the sinker early, occasionally the four-seamer. Mix in the slider. He's putting a few hitters away with the slider off the outside corner, particularly the righties.
And 0-2. Now, certainly not speaking as a former hitter here, but I would imagine that it's tough to face a guy who you just don't have a lot of knowledge of. You probably haven't seen him. Maybe a few at bats in the minor leagues here or there. There's only 2 big league starts. Doesn't affect Rojas. A base hit to right field. So how does a team prepare in a situation like this?
Well, you watch film, you watch video, and you read the scouting report, you read the numbers, and you see what it tells you. The thing about Soroka tonight is that he has really kind of worked away from the numbers that you have from the first 2 starts. I mean, you see the frustration right there, right? So all night long, I would have said to you, he's throwing his sinker to get ahead, and he's using the slider to put both the lefties and the righties away. So in that situation right there, he went back to the sinker, but he elevated it. Miggy Rowe went the other way. Base hit.
Love stays put at first, and the first pitch to Lewis Brinson is outside. A ball and no strikes. Brinson flew out to center field back in the 2nd inning. Got a hit in 4 straight games. Time for the longest of his career.
We'll take a quick look. Soroka tonight. This started the ballgame against JT Realmuto. Maybe a message being sent right there going to the breaking ball, and you're going to see an awful lot of this. There's a look at the sinker. Of course, that's Harlan Garcia. So everybody but Harlan got to see a slider there at the end.
Runner goes. Brinson foul that one straight back. You like the hit and run, the movement?
Well, I certainly like the idea of putting runners in motion against the Atlanta Braves. They do not have very good numbers throwing out runners. They're 88% success rate.
Ground ball to second base, Albies. And Brinson is retired. Another strikeout for Soroka. He's got 6 through 4. Braves up 1. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini here on a Saturday night in Miami. 2 runs allowed to this point for Harlan Garcia, as he is, at least through the first 4 innings, seemingly back on track after what was a rough start against the Chicago Cubs. A situation where left a few balls up. Cubs have a potent offense, maybe a little bit of a wind effect at Wrigley Field playing into it. But a nice bounce back tonight for Garcia, who will face Soroka, Albies, and Acuna Jr. 9-1-2 here in the 5th.
Hey, Paul, how about the efficiency tonight? He's looked good. He's only had 52 pitches here at the start of the 5th inning.
He's getting back to what the Marlins were doing so well for, roughly a 2-week stretch. It was just pound the zone, eliminate the walks, pitch to contact, let the defense do its job. Kind of like that. As Rojas over to first. Let's go downstairs to Craig.
Thank you, Paul. Shaq was at the game last night, as we saw him throw out the first pitch. Pretty good pitch as well. Had a chance to talk with some of the players as well. First, Justin Boyer. Made Justin Boyer look small somehow, which is hard to do, isn't it? And also here, Judge Judy was at the game. And of course, she is tiny and related to Marlins owner Bruce Sherman. And Shaq even had a little basketball and the puff basketball in the back playing against Martin Prado, and he just jammed his layup attempt. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was the Marlins posted it, and Prado was saying he thought he had a quick move on him. No, it was rejected. The Marlin players love that too.
Ozzie Albies swings and misses 0-2. Yeah, Martin Prado, I guess he thought, well, I could get something off on Shaq, who's just picking up this wonderful woman, like she's nothing.
It's Judge Judy. Don't mess with the judge like that.
Apparently you do. The big Aristotle did.
Yeah.
Garcia with the strikeout, his third, 2 away here in the 5th.
Judge can throw you in the pen.
That's right. Do you think that you could back down Shaq?
No.
Do you think you could get a shot off against Shaq and just have it go anywhere near the rim or backboard?
Well, probably from half court.
Maybe. He's got a big wingspan. Anywhere in the paint.
I'd like to challenge him in a game of Nerf hoops.
That's what
No
Prado did.
shot.
That's what Prado did yesterday.
Right.
Prado tried to go with the finger roll. Next thing you know, swat. Ronald Acuna Jr. 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out back in the 3rd inning. The youngest player in Major League Baseball. Lines a single into right center field. And Brinson has to grab that one with his bare hand.
It's 2 balls tonight. I thought the same thing of the ball Brian Anderson had to deal with. Of course, this hit much harder. Ball working off the outside corner. He stays on it, drives it the other way. Watch the bounce. So Lewis does what any good outfielder does, get himself in line with the bounce. And as it hits, it checks up and goes over his right shoulder or to his right shoulder and with the bare hand.
It's a good thing he's got a Shaq-like wingspan. Keep that one from going to the wall. Here's Freddie Freeman now. Holds up on that offering from Garcia. A home run back in the 1st inning for Freddie Freeman. That was his 7th of the season at the time. Gave the Braves a 1-0 lead. Marlins tied it in the bottom of the 1st inning. The Braves scored again in the top of the 2nd. And it's been zeros ever since. 1-1 to Freeman. He's had himself a very nice series.
Well, Harlan Garcia has given up a couple hits to the Braves lefties tonight. I mentioned earlier, only a couple hits coming in. Both of them to Dubal Herrera, the Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, has reached in 40 straight games. He is hot for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He's hitting what, 360 coming into today? That was the number.
Philadelphia was rained out tonight. That sounds about right. He's been very, very good for the Phillies, but kind of tells you how good Harlan Garcia has been as well.
.360. Nick Markakis 5th in Major League Baseball at .345. Garcia again sharp tonight. One, 2 from the lefty. That one upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1 for 2 night tonight for Freddie Freeman means that he is 27 for his last 76. And around a 350 batting average over his last 19 games. That one just above the zone. Count runs full, and that will give Acuna Jr. a head start. DeBoer backs up behind Acuna Jr., who is on the move on 3-2. Freeman out to center field. Brinson to the track at the wall, and that one is gone. A 2-run home run for Freddie Freeman, his 2nd of the night.
Another 2-out rally for the Atlanta Braves. All too familiar throughout this series. Well, he worked his way back with a 3-2 pitch. Got a ball up in the zone. We've talked about it. It's the slider. Thigh high. Down the middle. See that strong front side.
Third home run of this series for Freddie Freeman and 13th multi-homer game.
Well, the Braves have scored 16 runs through 2.5 ball games of this 4-game series. 14 of those runs have come with 2 outs.
One to Nick Markakis, 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out back in the first inning. Lined out in the fourth. Lines out here in the fifth. Brinson puts it away. But Freeman at it again with his second home run of the night. It's now 4-1 Braves.
Marlins home screen icons and features such as MLB.tv, Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
An 0-1 to Harlan Garcia. 9-1 and 2 due up for the Marlins after Garcia, Real Muto, and Prado. Now down 4-1. Big night for Freddie Freeman. He had a 5-hit night with a home run on Thursday. He's got himself a 2-home run night here tonight. He's accounted for 3 of the 4 Braves runs.
Yeah, I feel like there's a developing phrase, terminology in there, like don't get Freeman. My goodness.
7th strikeout for Soroka.
This young man has maintained his composure. Done a very nice job working in and out of trouble. You go back to that 3rd inning. JT Real Muto leadoff double, got himself over to 3rd base. Steps JT. Marlins unable to score.
Right side, Freeman gives it a look, and it's 0-1. Do you know what those guys are?
I think those are the sand people. Yeah, they hang out in the sand dunes.
Right, yeah.
They eat sandwiches.
Nice. They travel in single file to hide their numbers. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, neither did I.
Well, we pretty much assumed that now.
It could not even be true. I don't know. I don't know these things. I'm probably getting lit up on social media for not being on. You know. I just don't have. Didn't have the time to do the homework on this. Apologize. Yeah.
Noisy creatures.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with them. Realmuto out to shallow right center field. Albies back. He gives way to Markakis, and there are 2 away here in the 5th. The amount of information I'm being fed in my ear, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm getting for Christmas from the crew. If they're nice enough to get me something for Christmas. It'll be the Star Wars box set.
Probably didn't think you signed up for this a few months ago, did you?
See, Prado takes a strike. Well, you know, is that
my knowledge of Major League Baseball? It's good.
Right.
Check, check, check. I've
Right.
been working at the network for a few years. Check, check, check. Star Wars. Didn't see that coming, did you?
That one just slipped right through the cracks. Well, that's the thing. You know, working at MLB Network and you're doing MLB Tonight, you're in and out of all these games. And how many times do you see, oh, it's Star Wars night in Houston, in Miami, in Atlanta, in Chicago? You just kind of blow past it. I was able to kind of say, hey, it's Star Wars night, and then, you know, move on.
You're telling me you didn't have a Star Wars day at the network?
If we did, I wasn't invited. Well, I didn't have to conduct interviews with stormtroopers, of which I think it was a fair job, you know, admirable at best.
Solid C effort on our part.
Yeah, so I just want to pass-fail. That's pretty much it. There's a hit for Prado. Base hit into right center field. 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Good to see throughout the homestand. Prado swing starting to come back around. Line drive, center field. Making his way down to first base. Nice job. He's had some very nice at-bats out of the 2 spot. The homestand.
Here's Castro now. And Prado even said that today by the cage. It's like, I'm starting to feel it again.
Of course he is.
It's more than just the hits falling in. It's also a feeling.
Well, in simple terms, at some point you start to feel that when you execute the way that you anticipate executing, you get the said result. Meaning you're hitting the ball hard. You see the ball and you get the result. Prado on the road trip, he was scuffling at times. I saw him frustrated in the box. He'd swing at a pitch expecting it to be something other than it was. Meaning the result wasn't there.
Swing for Castro, and it's 0-2.
Went back to at-bat number 1. Soroka challenged Castro with the sliders, and he really has not backed off since. Two consecutive to start the AB.
Soroka won his debut, 20 years, 270 days old. Youngest Braves pitcher to win his debut since Charlie Vaughn beat Houston in a Game 1 of a doubleheader, September 3rd, 1966. In that ball game. At the time, the Mets were a first-place team. The last time that a pitcher as young as Soroka won his major league debut against a team in first place at the time, 1997. Dennis Reyes of the Dodgers. Ground ball, left side. Camargo throws across his body. And Freeman's got to come off the bag. Does a nice job to keep it in front. Marlins have 2 on and 2 out here in the 5th.
Soroka, try again. My goodness gracious, he was committed to that slider on the outside corner. This one backed up a little bit, so Starlin Castro, ground ball to the left side. Well, they almost got it all the way through, able to beat it out. Second infield hit tonight.
With Prado on second, Castro on first, a guy who can tie the ball game with 1 swing, Justin Bour.
Tyler Flowers out to the mound for a quick meeting. The situation has presented itself. We've continued to talk about Justin Bour, 2-out home runs. A lot of things going on with 2 outs in this series, it seems. Justin Bour, 6 of his 7 home runs this year have come with 2 outs.
Flowers thought about it. Back to second goes Prado. For Bour, more career home runs and RBIs against Atlanta than any other opponent. 11 homers, 36 runs batted in. 1-1.
Now that took some serious courage. Soroka has not thrown too many changeups tonight. We count them on one hand. Pulled the string. JB, he was not ready for that changeup. I think any of us were.
He's thrown only 2 changeups all night. Now a 2-1 pitch to Bour. This is low, 3-1.
JB loves the ball middle away. Got ahead his last at bat. 3-1 pitch. Soroka went inside. Goes Tyler Flowers again.
And he issues his first walk of the night. They are loaded for Brian Anderson. Another walk for Justin Bour. Anderson already an RBI double in this ball game. 12 of 33 this season with runners in scoring position. Just saw the numbers with the bases loaded. Team leader in RBIs. Exit ball 1, knocked down by Flowers.
Now the reliability of the slider has gotten away from Soroka just a bit this inning. Ranted and raved. At times he's thrown it almost for a strike whenever he's needed it. Whenever he's looking for a chase swing, he's thrown it effectively as well. Here at the front end of a few at bats, he has missed. Marlins laying off. Should force him into a more predictable pitch.
Chop slowly to Bautista. That one runs up his arm, and 1 run scores. Castro hesitated around third and has to get right back.
I'll tell you what, the Marlins are going to get their 8th hit. Nope, check that. Rule that an error on Bautista. Really what I was kind of getting at is the type of contact we've seen. There have been some infield hits and some soft ground balls to the left side that have worked out for the Marlins tonight. It's going to come up and catch him on the heel of the glove.
So an E5 for Bautista. Knew he was going to have to be quick with it. Anderson hustling down the line. Peter Moylan loosens for the Braves.
First E of the season on Bautista.
Castro, Bour, Anderson, your runners. Marlins back to within 2. Dietrich, a couple of strikeouts tonight. So look at the ball outside.
Dietrich struck out a couple of times tonight. Look at the pitch breakdown, 25 in the first, now 24 in the fifth. This will be number 25 as he hits the 90 mark.
Dietrich out toward center field. Inciarte is back, way back, and that one's off the wall. It's going to clear the bases. And the Marlins have taken the lead.
Well, double D, how about it? 3-hit night last night. We want to make amends for a couple of punch-outs earlier in the ball game. Biggest spot in the ball game comes through. How about this Marlins team taking advantage? The Atlanta Braves miscues. That's what they need to do. That's what they have now done to take the lead. A good swing, good extension. Sinking fastball, stayed inside it. Put off that outside corner. Really good swing. Hit high off the wall.
He missed a grand slam by a couple of feet. And such a good outing for Soroka through 4 2/3. But then single, walk, error, double. And the Florida Lottery call to the bullpen comes with the Marlins in front, 5-4. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Don't miss your chance to play for the massive Powerball jackpot. Pick your lucky numbers and get your Powerball ticket at any Florida Lottery retailer. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Derek Dietrich with a bases clearing double. And it gives the Marlins a 5-4 lead here in the fifth.
Love to see the Marlins capitalizing. You got the Batista error at third base, which extends the inning, gives you another opportunity. We talked about it. Soroka pitch count climbing this inning. Inciarte, valiant effort. The Marlins come through and have yet another opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
And a strike to Miguel Rojas. So Peter Moylan is in. His 19th outing this year for the Atlanta Braves out of their bullpen. The Marlins have already scored 4 in this inning. All 5 of their runs with 2 outs tonight. You know, we could have started every inning with 2 outs and we wouldn't have missed a trick. We'd have been in and out of here in 45 minutes the last 3 nights. And we would have had all the same action.
Well, the Braves started it, for crying out loud.
That's right, that's right. And we're going to finish it.
The Braves, 14 of their 16 have come with 2 outs.
Rojas holds up, and it's 1-2. Rojas with a base hit back in the 4th inning. That came off of Soroka, who went 4 2/3, gave up 7 hits. He struck out 7, walked 1. Dietrich still his responsibility on at second base. just as the Braves made it happen quick, the Marlins, in a sense, do the same. Garcia led off this inning by striking out. Again, that was the 7th for Soroka. Then Realmuto flew out to Markakis in right field. Prado, base hit. Castro, base hit. Bohr, another walk. Brian Anderson, dribbler to third. An error on Bautista. Extended the inning for Dietrich to bring them all home on the long 2-base hit off the left center field wall. Marlins back in front. That one just foul.
Tell you what, Miguel Rojas can stay inside of a baseball, particularly against a righty, as well as, tell you, just about as well as anybody. Freddie Freeman throwing up his hands. He's trying to keep the single on the infield. And Rojas nearly shoots one down the line.
Count runs full to Rojas. Moylan has allowed the first batter he faces to reach 56% of the time. Rojas frozen for strike 3. But a big inning for the Marlins as they get 4, 3 of them on this double from Dietrich. Marlins up a run. Steven Strasburg dealing this afternoon against the Diamondbacks. 6 2/3, 5 hits, a run, a walk, 9 strikeouts. As the Diamondbacks have certainly found their stride, having won 8 of the last 10 at the moment, with this game still in progress. Currently 1 back of the first place Atlanta Braves. It's tight atop the NL East. Philadelphia Phillies are getting rained out today, so they're a half game back of Atlanta. Mets have already been in first place. Braves have already been in first place. Phillies are a half game out, so a lot of movement at the top of that NL East as Jose Bautista takes strike 1 to lead off the 6th inning. Bautista, Inciarte, and Flowers due up for the Braves. All of a sudden down a run after the 4 spot in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bautista to left field. Dietrich back, and that one is gone. A home run. His first as a Brave. And Bautista, who had the error in the bottom of the inning, atones for it with the home run.
Well, suppose some form of redemption for Bautista. Breaks a long 0 streak for Bautista as well. It's a big home run. ties up this ball game at 5 for 332 of his career. Off the end a little bit, enough to get it out over the left field wall here at Marlins Park.
Snapped an 0 for 13. And the third home run allowed in this ball game by Harlan Garcia.
His back-to-back 3-homer games for Harlan.
So in your best guess, is that a lack of execution on his part or just a growing dossier on this guy?
Well, I think there's some evidence, and I think it existed even when we were busy ranting and raving and throwing all the accolades his way when he was putting up the scoreless innings and shutting everybody down, and we're talking no hitters, and there was definitely some evidence about where his fastball needed to be more specifically, especially in regards to the strike zone. And we know his secondary pitches are very, very good. The point being, in order to pitch at this level at 92 miles an hour, even if you're a lefty, unless you have tremendous deception, which he's got a little, but his ball doesn't have a whole lot of sink to it, doesn't have a whole lot of run to it. Very straight four-seam fastball, meaning his action has got to be to those corners or just off those corners to get the bad contact that he needs. He has to find a way to incorporate his secondary pitches a little bit better. He's been jumped. I mean, again, what have the Braves done tonight? They've looked to be very aggressive at the front end of counts.
And Ciarte, dribbler up the line, hugs the line, takes a right-hand turn. Still 1-2. Of the 15 fastballs swung at, just one swing and miss tonight.
Well, that home run is on a fastball. Home run number 1 for Freddie Freeman on a fastball. The 3-3-2 slider to Freeman was elevated.
'76 pitch of the night for Harlan Garcia. It's the strikeout of Inciarte, the 4th of the night. There's one away.
And he was able to get to the slider. You see, back to some good sequencing against Inciarte, who's been swinging a bit of a hot bat.
Flowers takes outside. Flowers tonight, a base hit, got to second on an E9. That play brought in a run for the Braves. That was in the 2nd, and he walked in the 4th. 2 walks tonight for Garcia to go along with the 4 strikeouts. Strikes, 28 out of the zone for Harlan Garcia. 1-2 to Flowers. Surrendered 6 hits to this point, 5 runs, 4 of them earned. Misses low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Flowers has already missed 23 games this year with a left oblique strain. Showing no ill effects there as he lines one into the gap in right center field, cut off by Brinson to keep Flowers at first. And there's 1 out and 1 on here in the 6th.
That's the 2nd time tonight Harlan has tried to go away against Flowers, and he has been able to get pretty decent contact off the outside corner. Pick up his second hit of the night.
So Whitgren loosening up. Garcia will face Camargo. Charlie Culberson has moved into the on-deck circle. Camargo tonight 0 for 2. Good changeup by Garcia.
Action on the changeup. We told you before the game started, great numbers with his secondary pitches. He's got to find a way to get to him.
To Prado on the short hop. To second for 1. On to first, a double play. First double play turned tonight by the Marlins, and it's a big one. Gets Garcia through 6. Spring in a new Lincoln. Take a trip to 1993 as the Marlins celebrate their 25th anniversary. Join us the weekend of June 8th through the 10th with some of your favorite World Series champs, throwback moments, giveaways, and much more. Rep your teal as the Marlins take on the Padres in our throwback jerseys. Visit marlins.com/25. Ryan Flaherty takes over at third base for the Atlanta Braves. Quick night for Peter Moylan as Shane Carl takes over. Pitching in his 17th game this year for Atlanta. He'll face Brinson. JB Shuck, who is in the on-deck circle, set to hit for Garcia, and JT Realmuto at the top of the order. Brinson 0 for 2 tonight. A fly out in the second, a ground ball out in the 4th inning. Takes the 1-1 outside. 2 balls and a strike. Carl is holding right-handed batters to 6 for 42. It's a 143 average.
Combination of the fastball, the slider, and the change has worked. Average fastball velocity 95 miles an hour. You see the slider on the 2-1 pitch at 88.
It's that outside corner again, it looks like, on 2-2 to Brinson. This time flies it out to right field into foul ground and into the seats. Still 2-2. Just grabbed by the security guard down there.
Absolutely. There you go.
And then that guy,
All in one motion.
smooth.
Second baseman.
That's right.
That's right. It's that game. Quick double play.
Quick turn.
2-2 pitch coming. For the most part, stayed away. See Flowers slide out once again.
Ground ball up the middle, spinning, and Camargo has no play. A 5-game hit streak for Lewis Brinson. He's aboard to lead off the 6th.
Well, certainly like it. Tough pitch to handle. Put it in perfect place. Right back through the middle, and a good start to the 6th inning.
A lot of the box for Brinson. It is getting to a point now where it's just trying not to do too much, and that being okay. You know, just with 2 strikes, just try to, put the bat on the ball a little bit more. Because listen, there have obviously been a lot of strikeouts for Lewis Brinson this season.
Well, the victories have been a little bit smaller, but they're coming more often.
J.B. Shuck to pinch hit.
First step out of the box.
Don Mattingly said before the game today that Brinson's at-bats are getting more competitive. He's gotten a little bit further off the plate to give himself a little bit more room. So when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Well, getting to the classic pattern that we identified early on in the season, talking about a lot of fastballs at his hands, a lot of sliders away. He's defending the strike zone better. It's kind of like what you had just mentioned, a little bit more contact, good 2-strike approach, shortening up a little bit more. I wouldn't say he's all the way back. I'd say it's still a work in progress, and that's what I meant by the smaller victories. They've been there. He's got a modest 5-game hitting streak. He's getting 1 hit a game. It's sustainable. He's starting to kind of move in the right direction. Still waiting for the young man to just really explode. Hit that 10 for 20 or that 15 for 30. Watch his numbers take off. But in the meantime, and again, nobody puts together a season in which you do that every day. He's being productive. Playing a good defensive center field and putting the bat on the ball and getting himself on base, scoring some runs, driving in some runs.
He was on the move on that pitch to Shuck, which was fouled back into the netting. Infield single a moment ago, but go back a couple of nights and Brinson connecting on a home run.
Now we talk about hitting a pitcher's mistake. I mean, that really is what a home run is more times than not. Very few guys. We're talking about a very elite class of players that can take pitchers' pitches and hit balls like that. But ideally what you do is the mistakes come, you got to do something with them. He did. Hanging breaking ball, and he turned it around.
It was also his second at-bat that night against Luis Gohara. He said they got him out on the slider in the first at-bat. He saw that slider again. Clearly made the adjustment. Sent it out to left center field for the home run.
We talked about the numbers against Carl. Great numbers against the righties. It's only Brinson infield single, only the 7th hit he's given up. The lefties, though, doing much better. 273. I think that's why you're seeing so many throws to first base. He's anticipating either a bunt, a hit and run.
He tweak something, or is he just trying to put the oven mitt on? One steal, one caught stealing this year for Lewis Brinson. And another check. This was one of the previous pickoff attempts.
Now you see that left hand, it got stuck and it jammed it into the dirt. Notice how it doesn't get all the way forward. I think that may be what's bothering him at the second.
So what is that oven mitt for a base runner?
Well, it can be a variety of things. I had to wear one for a little while after I had had hand surgery a couple of times, really just to protect the hand, protect me from doing something really dumb. I used to always throw my hands all over the place, kind of get them in underneath spikes and whatnot. Everybody's got a different reason.
The days of just picking up a clump of dirt in each hand to keep from extending your fingers, well, long gone. Chuck to first. Freeman to second for one. Too fast. He's able to beat that one out. It's almost like Freeman saw that coming. He was holding the runner on, and instead of kind of drifting towards second base, it's almost like he took a step toward home.
Well, he tried to be a little bit quicker. He certainly anticipated, did a nice job of getting rid of the baseball quickly. Of course, J.B. Shuck fast down the line, well documented. One of the quicker guys in the game.
Brinson talking with Mike Kozak just to make sure everything's okay, kind of shaking out that right arm a little bit. Keep an eye on it as JT Realmuto takes a look at ball one. Realmuto tonight, a double back in the third.
Now a 9-game hitting streak at Marlins Park this season. 12 for 36.
Flaherty. And the throw to second. A double play. Must have been a short hop. And now Perry Hill and Freddie Gonzalez are checking whether or not that ball got into his glove in the air.
I think there may have been a call on the field. I think that's why Don Mattingly's out. It looked to my eye, you had an out call at third base.
Definitely hit the dirt. I think Flaherty knew it immediately because he threw to second base. And now Mattingly is getting a little heated with the crew chief and home plate umpire Mike Winters.
Well, you had an out call at third base. You threw everybody off. Well, the play stands. It is a double play. And that is the Braves' 42nd double play this season. That is third in Major League Baseball. We saw 4 of them last night as well. It was the 5th inning-ending double play here in a game and a half for the Marlins.
So he's just trying to get a better explanation as to, with the out call, now there's some unintended deception from the umpires, right?
And that's what happens. Flaherty clearly knows he did not catch that. He had an out call at third base, but we're moving on.
So a double play nonetheless. 5-5 through 6. third game of a 4-game set. Funky little play to end the inning. Third base umpire. That looks like, well, it looked like he started to say there was an out, and then you could see him kind of adjust midair,
right,
and say no catch.
Yeah, and to his defense, I mean, Flaherty went to the backhand. I mean, that's what's so interesting about the play. It's a very shielded play even by his eyes. He's behind the third baseman, so a tough call, but we were all thrown off by that initial arm being raised and anticipating the out call.
So Flaherty will lead things off in the number 9 spot, swings at the first pitch and sends it into the seats down the third baseline. Flaherty will face Tyron Guerrero as the day is done for Harlan Garcia. 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, a couple of walks, 4 strikeouts. 20th game this year for Guerrero.
Flaherty riding a 4-game hitting streak, 5 for his last 12. Batting average at .315. He's been very productive for the Atlanta Braves this season.
And he looks at ball 2 rather, 2-1. Guerrero pitched in last night's ball game. Had a strikeout in the 7th inning through 14 pitches. 9 were strikes. So back out there in back-to-back ball games. 2-2. I mentioned Flaherty's hot start as he was signed by the Phillies, released by the Phillies at the beginning and end of spring training. Signed on with the Braves, got off to a terrific start, but then in comes Jose Bautista, who was homered in this ball game. Flaherty sends this one out to center field. Brinson for the first out. So now Flaherty moving back into that kind of utility role. You know, I'm sure anyone at the big league level that gets off to a start that Flaherty got off to, you're not in love with the utility role, but I think he's been around the block long enough to know that this is kind of how it works. He's sort of accepted it as best he can. Not a utility guy right here. This is a superstar in the making. Ozzie Albies, he's 0 for 3 tonight. But you can run through a laundry list of offensive categories that this guy is at the top of the National League in.
Well, Guerrero went right at him last night, struck him out. So back-to-back games, these two will square off.
Ground ball in the first, pop up in the third, and a strikeout in the 5th for Albies. One of the 4 strikeouts for Harlan Garcia tonight. The bullpen last night in relief of Dan Straley, Tazawa, Guerrero, Bearclaw, Ziegler, Sharp to keep the Braves at bay and take the 2nd game of this series.
Yeah, Ziegler picking up his 100th career save. Congratulations to him. Certainly is a big moment in his career.
A ball and 2 strikes to Ozzie Albies. Skies this one. Looks like it'll be Rojas for the 2nd out. So Guerrero, the first arm out of the Marlins bullpen tonight. A Marlins bullpen that has the 3rd best strikeout per 9 rate in the National League. Just under 10, 9.9 strikeouts per 9. This guy right here, Tyron Guerrero, in the middle of all of it. 31 strikeouts in 18 1/3 innings. 2 outs tonight, so now 19 innings of work. Ronald Acuna Jr. Single would score back in the 5th. Got him to fly out to center field in last night's 7th inning. And he gets him to fly out to right field in the 7th inning tonight. 3 fly ball outs, 3 up, 3 down for Guerrero. It's 5-5. Welcome back. Star Wars night here at Marlins Park. 5-5 the score as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Lots of people dressed up. We had a couple of those guys up here in the booth. As Carl back out for his 2nd inning of work, he'll face Martin Prado, who delivers a strike 2. Martin Prado, Starlin Castro, Justin Bour. These 3 guys all reached in the 5th inning. Single walk, and then an error, and a bases clearing double for Derek Dietrich. A 4 spot in the 5th inning for the Marlins. At the time, gave them a 5-4 lead. But the Braves have since tied it up as we move to the bottom of the 7th. 2nd rider up for the Marlins. Pitched on Thursday night. Game that got away from the Marlins rather quickly. Braves striking extremely fast in the middle innings en route to a Game 1 win. Marlins bounced back last night. They've split the first 2 of this 4-game set. See a lot of the Braves in the next couple of weeks. Obviously this 4-game series. An off day Monday. Dodgers come to town for 3. And then the next road trip goes through Atlanta and through Queens. Prado is retired for the first out. Now a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
One out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Starlin Castro. Castro, a couple of hits tonight. A couple of runs scored as well.
Both of those hits on the infield. 10 on the season, 10 infield hits.
one out to center field in Ciarte. 2 away. 11th multi-hit game of the season for Starlin Castro. He was retired here in the 7th inning. That'll bring up Justin Bour.
JV on base twice tonight.
Doesn't look like he is going to face Shane Carl. Brian Snitker is out to take the ball. A.J. Minter, the lefty, is in. The Florida Lottery call to the bullpen with the game tied in the 7th. This year, that leads the Marlins. Derek Dietrich with 9, Anderson with 8, Real Muto and Rojas with 7. Real Muto had himself a 3-hit night in last night's ball game, as did Rojas. New pitcher is A.J. Minter, a lefty out of the bullpen. A perfect 6 for 6 in holds in this his 18th game for the Braves. He'll face the lefty Justin Bour, and the first pitch is off the inside edge, 1-0.
Four-seam fastball and a slider to go along with it. Fastball 95, 96 miles an hour, throws hard. He's yet to surrender a home run in 2018.
Between Minter and the guy that he just took over for, both with 6 holds, tied for the 2nd among rookie pitchers in the major leagues. Holds basically, how good are you at bridging the gap to your closer in layman's terms? Called strike from home plate umpire Mike Winters. Hitters count to Justin Bour on 3-1, takes low, and another game in which Bour draws a couple of walks.
Well, it just wouldn't be right without Justin Bour walking twice. Certainly over the last 5 games, that's exactly what he has done.
Now Brian Anderson. RBI double in the first, reached on an error in the 5th that extended that inning. The run came in, didn't get an RBI for it, but that extended the inning, got it to Derek Dietrich. And that, at the time, gave the Marlins a 5-4 lead. I mentioned the holds for Carl and Minter. Just to be clear, you need to have a lead to get a hold. I'm not saying this was a hold scenario. I just don't want to get fried for it, that's all. I want to give the statistic, give the background, and make it clear.
Well, I wouldn't have fried you.
I know. You like me, I think.
Stormtrooper back up here.
Well, that's kind of what I was worried about. Like literally fried with the lightsaber thing. Ball and a strike to Anderson. 1-2. The Millennium Falcon?
Wow, well done.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that? I'm learning.
Somebody tell you?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
It was on the hat.
Ah.
Remember, it was on the brim of the hat, the giveaway hat.
Good memory then.
That's right.
A little
See?
pat on the back.
That's right. I don't have to learn it. I just have to memorize it. How do you think I got through school?
Whatever it takes. Good take right there on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball just off the inside corner. Tyler Flowers, one of the best pitch framers in the game of baseball. Steal a strike as well as anybody.
That one in the dirt. And the count runs full, so a head start for Bohr.
You mentioned it. We've talked about it. Brian Anderson can find a gap. He does here. It should help with the big guy. Head start.
Acuna Jr. has given him the entire left field line and then some. Shaded toward left center field. Bohr on the run. Chopped to third. Smothered by Flaherty. And the inning is over. We'll go to the 8th inning with the Braves and Marlins tied at 5. Series for Freddie Freeman, but tonight specifically against Harlan Garcia, a home run, a solo shot back in the first inning, and then a 2-run home run also off of Garcia toward left center field in the 5th inning. 3 homers in this series. Last Braves 3-homer game, Matt Kemp in 2017. The Milwaukee Brewers. Drew Steckenrider in to face Freeman. His first pitch is off the edge. Steckenrider in his 19th game, the ERA way up to 4.24, and that's really because of the one bad outing that he had the last time out.
It came on Thursday. He recorded 1 out, 4 hits, 6 earned runs, a couple of walks, 1 intentional. Atlanta Braves jumped all over him. They realized he didn't have a secondary pitch for the most part, only a couple of flat sliders in that game. ERA went, as you mentioned, up to 4.24. Starting tonight, it was at 1.08 for his last outing. Know anything about this young man, I'm sure he's going to bounce back very favorably. He is a competitor. He is a bulldog. Certainly not afraid. Going right at anybody.
Well, that was Thursday night. That was the night that Tim Wallach managed while Don Mattingly was away from the team for a night. And I asked Tim before the game, I said, Steck's been so good for this club. What happened the other night? And he said, you know what? Even the really good ones have bad nights. And that's really all it was. Anybody who's watched this guy pitch the last calendar year or so will tell you that a huge part of this Marlins bullpen Marlins bullpen that has a lot of different weapons for Don Mattingly to use, a lot of different guys that, I guess, looking at it, make profile as closers.
Well, how about a 2-strike approach? We've talked about it an awful lot throughout the series, right? All the power of Freddie Freeman, everything he's done, all the accolades. How about that for a 2-strike approach? A little half swing on a tough pitch.
And the leadoff walk here in the 8th.
Well, and that in a lot of ways explains what makes Freddie Freeman so good. Steckenrider, for the most part, stayed away. A couple fastballs to the inside part. Freddie Freeman fouled off a couple of tough pitches. Look at the walk.
So now it's Nick Markakis. Markakis 0 for 3 tonight. Had a hit taken away in the 4th inning. A terrific sliding catch in left by Derek Dietrich. And he takes strike 1 at 95 miles an hour from Drew Steckenrider. Average at .338 on the year, still among the league leaders. Couple of head-to-head matchups between Markakis and Steckenrider. Markakis 1 for 2.
One common denominator between his start, well, I shouldn't say his start, his outing a couple of nights ago at fastball command, not quite where Steck is used to it being. Seen it tonight as well. He's fallen behind Markakis now. He's got to find a way to get back into this count.
Markakis into right field, and Anderson will play it on a hop. First and second, nobody out for the Braves here in the 8th.
Short compact swing. Not crushed. Good enough for Markakis to pick up his first hit of the night.
52nd hit of the season, most in the National League, as Preston Tucker will come off the bench and hit in the number 5 spot in the order that in the recent innings has been taken over by the pitcher because of a double switch. So that's why they go to the bench for Preston Tucker.
Tucker, a pinch hit last night, base hit, 5 for 12 on the season. That's a .417 batting average. Braves top pinch hitter so far on the season.
numbers you referenced, along with a walk in one plate appearance against Steckenrider in his career. Tucker, the older brother of Astros prospect Kyle Tucker, who was the 5th overall pick in 2015. That one gets away from Rojas, but not far enough for Freeman to go anywhere. I mean, if it's dodgeball, he's out.
That's a little bit in between. Rojas not really expecting the throw.
Tucker, 27 years old. Tampa, Florida, 7th round pick by the Astros in 2012. Winkler up for the Braves. There's a certain art to pinch hitting, and whatever the secret is, Tucker has clearly found out what it is. And the reason why I point out his age is because usually I don't know if it's usual or if this is just kind of how my brain sees it, but usually the good pinch hitters are the veterans who kind of know how to handle these situations, as Tucker strikes out for the first out here in the 8th inning.
Well, a big out with 2 runners on. Drew Steckenrider went right at him with the fastball. It's this much needed strikeout. To answer your question, that really is the gift, is the ability to hit the fastball. That's what good pitch hitters do. They can come in, they can hit some velocity, but the other key is don't miss your pitch. But if you were to ask Preston Tucker tonight, he'd say, I had a couple pitches to hit and I just didn't do what I needed to do. So far from Steckenrider, and we've talked about this here over the last couple of outings or so. 16 pitches tonight, all fastballs.
And Ciarte walked and scored in the 2nd. Singled and stole his league-leading 17th base in the 4th. Also struck out in the 6th as he swings and misses, now 0-2.
I will say this. Steck's got a little bit more juice tonight on the fastball. Into tonight's ball game, average fastball velocity 94.5. That's his average. So you're talking about peaks. He has been consistently at 96 miles an hour tonight.
Well, again, for a guy who's been so effective, 16 of his 18 outings scoreless, you know that he was about as frustrated as anybody with how the other night went. Having a rest and recoup yesterday to be ready to go today. Competitive juices flowing in a tie game here in the 8th inning. Freeman on at second base. He had the leadoff walk. Nick Markakis with the base hit into right field. Tucker struck out as a pinch hitter. And now Ciarte. The next test for Steckenrider. Inside off the edge. 1-2.
Yeah, good miss. You see Steckenrider man both sides of the plate. This a little in. Probably looking for a little tailing action back towards the inside corner. Ciarte fair in the box. You can't start creeping out over that outside corner.
Strikes right up, 96 miles an hour. Still all fastballs from Steckenrider.
looks like a pretty good pitch. Sometimes you don't get the call. JT had slid to the inside corner once again. He missed the mark, but to my eye was inside the strike zone.
Here comes the payoff pitch. Fouled straight back.
Top of the zone, Inciarte a little late, able to foul it off.
This next one will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. Fouled back again. So all fastballs, and it seems like everything's at 96. Is that at all a concern just in terms of the opposition timing it?
Well, we haven't seen it yet. I mean, even Markakis's base hit, I mean, he definitely got in on him just a bit. It's a short, compact swing that produced the base hit by Markakis. Again, one of the hottest hitters in the game right now. So I'm kind of with you. I think Steckenrider's working through something. Sometimes you have to. You got to go to war and you don't have your entire arsenal. Everything's not working. You got to gut your way through it. I think that's what Steckenrider's doing tonight. You're seeing the velocity. There's pretty much that message is out. And word up and down the Atlanta Braves dugout would be we've seen nothing but fastballs from Steckenrider. He's thrown 24 pitches now. So yes, it's going to have to be really good with his location.
Again, the payoff pitch. And again, fouled off. Inciarte making Steckenrider work here in the 8th with 2 on and 1 out. Again, the 3-2 is fouled back.
Pitch will be number 12. This is mano y mano.
What do you think, fastball?
Yes.
What do you think, foul ball? Well, what a battle.
Especially now that we're to the point where Marlins fans clearly know what's coming. There's no secret here.
Inciarte wins the battle.
Wow.
Comes Juan Nieves, second walk of the inning for Steckenrider.
Who didn't think it? I mean, listen, I love the bravery with going to the pitch. He throws it for a strike. There's no way Inciarte does anything with it. Probably takes it for strike 3, but it required him throwing a pitch that he had not thrown this entire inning for a strike. And now 27 pitches in, now 28. Really tough to do.
So the bases are loaded here in the 8th inning as Junichi Tazawa begins to loosen for the Marlins. Freeman led off the inning with a walk. Markakis a base hit. Tucker struck out, and Inciarte a lengthy at bat. 13 pitches to draw the walk. And they are loaded for Tyler Flowers.
Well, ideally, Steck would love to work ahead here to Flowers. That would probably open it up where he could try a slider or change. He went right at him with a slider.
Solid career numbers for Flowers against the Marlins. Two hits in this ball game. 1-1.
Both base hits the other way.
"30 pitches in this inning for Steckenrider. Here's number 31. Popped up, and it'll reach the seats.
Now he's got a chance to really throw something hard and down in the zone for that chase, possibly. Flowers has got to protect the plate. Right at him with a fastball.
This team, they battle, don't they? They are hard to strike out.
Yeah, we ran the numbers. We showed you a little bit earlier in the game. Two-strike approach. We talked a little Kevin Seitzer. We talked Atlanta Braves. Makes you a dangerous team, doesn't it? Look what you do to another team's bullpen. Look what you do to their 8th inning guy. 32 pitches for Steckenrider.
Blocked by Real Muto.
Season high pitch count. Now at 33.
Freeman, Markakis, Inciarte, the runners third to first. 2-2 to Flowers, misses low. And there is nowhere to put him.
Now, part of what happened, even going back to Thursday night, this Atlanta Braves team has not shown a whole lot of respect towards that slider. Steckenrider has missed with it consistently.
And Flowers left field line, but that one hooks foul.
Flowers is sitting dead red, one pitch, one spot. He's looking to defend the strike zone. He's getting amped up for a fastball. Steckenrider's going to somehow have to create bad contact.
25 pitches Thursday, 35 pitches as of right now tonight. And a 3-2. This is outside, and the Braves have taken the lead. Second time in this series they have scored a run on a bases loaded walk.
Well, he's going to miss with the fastball away. Between Inciarte and Flowers, very disciplined at bats. Two-strike approach. 3 walks in the inning. Don Mattingly making his way to the mound.
So looks like Tazawa is coming on in. Braves made Steckenrider work in this one. They have taken the lead. 3 walks in the inning. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen here at Marlins Park. Now Junichi Tsuzawa in. Before we meet him, it is time for our Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. How about Brian Miller? First round pick, 36th overall out of North Carolina. Last year, last 4 games, including tonight, 7 for 17 with 4 RBIs while playing with the Single A Jupiter Hammerheads. Back to the game at hand, however, Junichi Tsuzawa is in the ball game for the 20th time this season. He'll face Johan Camargo with the bases loaded. 3 walks in the inning, a hit mixed in there, and the game tying, or rather the tie breaking, run scoring a moment ago.
A nice inning of work last night. Struck out a couple Atlanta Braves. 2.31 ERA, 10 appearances at home. Fastball, breaking ball, split finger.
Camargo swings at the first pitch, fouls it back. Camargo tonight 0 for 3. Grounded into a double play to end the 6th inning. Markakis on at third, he singled. Enciarte walked, he's at second. Flowers with the walk, he's at first.
There it is. Slow curveball, that good equalizer. Tsuzawa's at his best when he's throwing this for a strike. Both the 6 action, top to bottom, comes in at the belt, ends up at the knees. Only 74 miles an hour, but very effective.
The 0-2 inside.
Now you'd ideally like to get back to that curveball. Between the curve and the split, of course, it's about setting it up. Fastball, his 4-seamer, hitters hitting .352 against it. The curveball 125, the splitter 100.
You saw the pitch usage over the course of the last week for Junichi Tsuzawa, and the more effective he is, he's got, or at least it seems, a bit of a rubber arm, so we can go out there every night or so, give you 20 some odd pitches. It's been extremely effective at home this year. A 2.31 ERA over 10 appearances here at Marlins Park. The Marlins would like to tap into that right here. Two balls and 2 strikes to Camargo. And again, it's full.
Long, deliberate at bats from these Braves. 3 walks in the inning. Mere single by Markakis. Bases still loaded.
Payoff pitch with nowhere to put Camargo. Pops this one up. Behind home plate, Real Muto gives it a look, and that goes right off the top of the netting. Marlins will have Dietrich, Rojas, and Brinson due up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hoping to be trailing by just the 1 run. And again, the 3-2 pitch. That one misses. 3 consecutive walks back to back with the bases loaded. And the Braves lead at 7-5.
Well, when you think back to the beginning of the season and some of the issues this Marlins bullpen did deal with, it was typically the walks. When starting staff, the bullpen itself jumped out in front of the pack, issuing a few too many walks, able to get it under control, really started to pitch well. This Marlins team turned the corner and started to turn those solid outings into wins, but for a couple of games here lately, the walks have started showing up again.
Here's Ryan Flaherty. Swings at the first pitch and into the seats. 0-1. Flaherty came in, got his first at bat of the ball game back in the 7th inning. Flew out to Brinson in center. 4:21 with runners in scoring position.
Between Steckenrider and Tazawa, this has turned into a 44 pitch inning. As I said, the only base hit, Markakis.
Wasn't exactly a rocket either. They all count. 0-1. 0-2. Steckenrider walked 3. And Tazawa walked the first batter he faced tonight. Ciarte and Flowers on second and third, the responsibility of Steckenrider. Camargo is the runner at first. Here's the 0-2. Did he go? They check. No. Braves have battled in this inning. Just a million foul balls, a number of 3-2 counts, and they have taken the lead on 2 bases loaded walks. Here comes the 1-2 pitch.
There have been some good takes, and then there have been some bad misses. A combination of 2 have led to the 4 walks.
Fouled off Real Muto.
Umpire.
Tazawa gets the sign. And the 2-2 is on the way. Called strike 3.
Well, a big out. Tazawa able to dial up the low corner. Good fastball. Well done. Huge out. Certainly not out of this fire just yet. Ozzie he steps into the box. He's already has a grand slam in this series.
He's homered in each of the first 2 games of this series as he takes ball 1 from Tazawa.
And this grand slam, Nate Albies, now the youngest Brave with a grand slam since Andrew Jones. How about that? August 31st, 1997.
Well, we have seen him work counts. We have seen him foul off so many pitches. We've seen him be retired on the first pitch. I mean, it's just they've done a great job containing him tonight. He is 0 for 4. The strikeout back in the 5th inning. But you can see why throughout this season he has been such a tough out for the National League. Pops this one up, way up, or foul ground for the 3rd out. But the Braves score a couple. Thanks to 4 walks in the inning. 7-5. sure to tune in to Marlins Live, the pregame show before tomorrow's game, presented by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson have you covered. We'll celebrate Mother's Day in the last of a 4-game set against the Atlanta Braves. Sean Newcomb, Jose Urena, the 2 starting pitchers tomorrow afternoon. Marlins Live is on at 12:30. First pitch is 1:10 here at Marlins Park. Dan Winkler is in his 18th game for the Braves this season. There's Derek Dietrich. That one misses inside. Dietrich with a big blow back in the 5th inning, a bases clearing double, which at the time erased the deficit and gave the Marlins a 5-4 lead. But 3 unanswered for the Braves since, and some work to do with 6 outs remaining for Miami.
Now for Winkler, fastball, cutter. Also has a sinker as well, 4-seamer and a sinker. Uses that slider quite effectively as well.
The 5th pitcher of the night for the Atlanta Braves. Soroka went the first 4 2/3. Peter Moylan, a third of an inning to end the 5th. An inning and 2/3 from Carl. Minter got the last out of the 7th, and now Winkler works the 8th.
Sinker and the 4-seamer come in at 93-94 miles an hour. His most effective pitch, the cutter, the cut fastball, about 91. Also uses it the most.
Flowers unable to hold on, so Dietrich still has life with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tyler Cloyd up for the Marlins. Seen him be more of a long man for this club. Pitched in Chicago. 3 innings of work. Results aside, a big outing for him and for the team to help save the other arms in that pen in a game that got away from the Marlins against the Chicago Cubs, who have recently just been tearing the cover off the baseball, have they not?
They certainly have, taking it to the Chicago White Sox.
Another 8 runs on the board today at Wrigley Field.
Winkler possesses a lot of tilt right to left. The cutter and the slider.
Well, now the Marlins giving the Braves a taste of their own medicine with a nice at-bat here from Dietrich.
He pitches, working on 9. We can do that too.
Flowers wanted it, didn't get it. Full count.
We've seen that a few times tonight. Some good misses, if you will. Flowers slid to the inside corner. Pitch actually almost right down the middle of the plate because it missed Flowers' glove, called a ball.
And a hot shot to Albies. Nice play to take it on the backhand and retire Dietrich. A hard hit first out here in the 8th inning.
Well, a quality at bat, a hard hit baseball. The difference, shift. Albies in position, 1 hop. Good throw to first base.
So 1 out for Miguel Rojas. Had a base hit back in the 4th inning. Brinson on deck. It looks like Maben stirring in case it gets to that spot. But the Marlins need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Rojas, a fly ball down the right field line, giving Chase Markakis, but that one into the seats. Nice catch. There you go.
Oh, you bring your glove. Bring your glove to the ball game, and you might just make a great catch.
Not just
How
a
about
great catch.
Fresh catch of the day. There you go.
I should have known you were setting yourself up. I'll just get out of the way next time.
Yeah. It's some help in my ears.
Rojas into right field, kind of into no man's land, and that one's going to fall. Rojas going to head towards second base. Here's the throw, and he's in there.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Great swing. Bermuda triangle down the right field line. Seen this. Seen a few base hits right about there throughout this series. Rojas does not make it into second base unless he's hustling all the way. He's not running out of the box hoping that Freddie Freeman doesn't catch this ball and getting to first base. He's running to first base with the anticipation that this ball is going to be dropped and it's going to fall in, and he gets to second base. It's the only way he gets there. Well done.
So they do bring the tying run to the plate. Lewis Brinson takes a called strike. Brinson extended his hit streak to 5 games with a base hit back in the 6th inning. Maben has moved to the on-deck circle, but Brinson the tying run. 0-2. One hit a night for this 5-game hit streak, and I'm sure Brinson would like to change that pattern right here. A hustle double for Miguel Rojas, his 5th two-base hit of the season, has him in scoring position with 1 out in the 8th inning. These two teams exchanged single runs in the first. Braves scored 1 in the second and 2 in the 5th before the Marlins took a 5-4 lead after 5 innings. Ground ball right side, Albies. And Brinson moves Rojas to third.
Cameron Maben. 3 in the series with a double. He's a pinch hitter this season, 1 for 5. Swinging a pretty hot bat. 292 over his last 18 games.
And most of those hits, if not some of the outs, have been hard hit. Made some very solid contact as of late. This one into center field. Inciarte will put it away for the 3rd out. May have broken his bat on the line drive to center. We head to the 9th, 7-5. to High by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure, and by your South Florida Honda dealers. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth. It is the third game of a 4-game set. Braves on top 7-5. They have taken the lead in the last couple of innings as Tyler Cloyd is on to work, pitching in his 4th game. He has pitched 7 1/3 innings this season. He threw 8 pitches against the Mets, 87 against the Yankees, 86 against the Cubs, for a grand total of 181 pitches in 7 1/3 innings.
Well, it seems like it's the theme of late. Struggles here in the Marlins bullpen tonight. It was worked out.
Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis due up in the 9th inning. Acuna Jr. in this one with a single and a run scored in the 5th. The last time Cloyd pitched, again, that was against the Chicago Cubs. He worked 3 innings. He gave up 8 runs and 7 hits. 8 hits, 7 runs, excuse me. After the game, he obviously extremely frustrated. Don Mattingly, frustrated at the loss, yes, but gave an awful lot of praise to Cloyd for having come into the ball game and really kind of wore it for the club. Trying to eat up innings, eat up outs. One of the things that Cloyd was probably most frustrated with was that Tazawa had to come in and pitch the 8th inning of that game. That's what he had mentioned after the game. He said, I don't want to see Tazawa come in the game. It's my job to go out there, eat up the innings. And he couldn't get through that 4th inning. But again, a lot of credit from his manager. Of course, it's not a role anyone loves to have, coming into games with your club down a bunch of runs, but such is the case. Here, the job is to keep it at a 2-run deficit.
Well, for Cloyd, see the sinker, the 4-seam fastball. So got a cutter, a curve, and a change. Doesn't use the change too much. Most part, it's his sinker and his cutter.
The 3-2 pitch to Acuna Jr. is in there for a called strike 3.
Well done. Nicely done, picking up the first out of the inning. A big strikeout, trying to keep things in check. Cut fastball to the inside part of the plate. Well done. Acuna looking away off the plate. Certainly a bit surprised. Well, Freddie Freeman, a couple of home runs tonight and a walk. And a base hit. Fourth time on base tonight. Pitch away, goes away. Keep proud of the only Marlins infielder on the left side. Through 3 games, 8 hits for Freddie Freeman.
Career best 5 on Thursday night. Another 3 in this one. Arodys Vizcaíno, the closer for the Braves, loosening up. Markakis takes low and away. Markakis tonight, a single and a run scored in the 8th inning. The inning in which the Braves took their 2-run lead. Another rough outing for Drew Steckenrider tonight. 3rd of an inning. Gave up a hit, charged with a couple of runs. He walked 3. ERA up to 5.19, and this is just a couple of days after it was at 1. That's, you know, the blessing and the curse of being in the bullpen.
Well, Steck knows he's got a few things he's got to get worked out. Stuff is still there. Fastball velocity is still there. How about, I mean, 30 pitches into it, he was still throwing 96, 97 miles an hour.
That's right.
I just really think that inability to command the slider has made him vulnerable.
Markakis into right field. Freeman heads toward 3rd. A strong throw from Anderson. Got him!
How about it? My goodness. Well, we've seen young Brian Anderson show off that arm a few times, and I'm not sure we've really been given the opportunity to celebrate. Freddie Freeman hustling all the way. No way thought there would be a chance that this was going to happen. How about Martin Prado waiting for Freddie Freeman at 3rd base? Tremendous throw. My goodness. He had not even started his slide yet. That is very humbling to be a base runner in that position, having been there a few times myself.
Freddie Gonzalez has raved about this kid's arm, and it was on display right there. Here's Charlie Culberson taking outside.
Let's not forget, there was nothing about where that ball was hit that allowed him to get any kind of momentum towards the infield. That is 100% arm strength. That is fielding the ball on your side, squaring your shoulders, and unloading. Wow. Impressive.
How's that transition to right going? Good? Is it okay?
I'd like to see him throw a little bit more. Love it.
Big out number 2 here in the 9th as Culberson flies one out to left field. Dietrich back, and that one's going to go over his head. He started in, and it just kept carrying. Markakis will come around, and the throw goes to 3rd. Culberson in there. Markakis scores, and the Braves have an 8-5 lead.
Now Culberson for 11 pitch hitting going into this at bat. Dietrich fooled by the swing, no doubt. As you mentioned, broke in just a bit. He clearly did. Got 2 steps, 2 hard steps in, and then the pursuit back. It's so dangerous. Commit to in before going back. There it is. Tough read. What's going to get over his head?
That's an RBI triple for Charlie Culberson, and now a 3-run lead for Atlanta. Now Inciarte to right field. That one is gone. A 2-run home run for Ender Inciarte. As the Braves blow this one open a little bit more, it's 10-5.
Now for Inciarte, on base 4 times tonight. 5th at bat results in a home run. 10 runs for the Braves tonight, 12 hits. Cut fastball does not get in. Inciarte handles the inside pitch pretty well. Just enough to get out.
Powers to right field. Anderson toward the line, puts it away. But 3 more runs come in for the Braves. They lead it 10-5. Inning, but Atlanta and their quick strike offense now doubling up the Marlins. Marlins Live post-game show presented by WB Mason. Coming up after this one, some late walks really hurting the Marlins tonight. We'll hear from the skipper after this one. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson have you covered at the conclusion of this one. Braves closer Arodys Vizcaino comes in. He has 6 for 7 in save opportunities. This not one, but he was already up and throwing, hadn't pitched in a couple of days. Of course, 3 quick runs in that 9th inning. Just one of those situations where your closer's up, you might as well get him in. Again, he's been effective. He'll face the top third of the Marlins order: Real Muto, Prado, and Castro.
Now, big arm, throws hard. 97, 98 miles an hour, 4-seam fastball. Get a little arm side run to it. It's got a curveball and a changeup as well. Doesn't use that change too much. Curveball right around 86 miles an hour. It's pretty hard. Opponent's hitting just 158 against him this season. Really, for Vizcaino, the key is the walks. He walks hitters, he gets in trouble. His ERA goes up. When he doesn't walk hitters, the ERA is way down. Does not get hit hard typically.
Fouled straight back by Real Muto, who had a double back in the 3rd. Grounded into that double play in the 6th inning. This one right in your kitchen. Hello. It's an expensive robotic camera, but it looks like it's okay. After all, it's got a bungee cord on it, so it should be fine. Swing and a miss. One away here in the 9th. Martin Prado singled and scored back in the 5th inning. Bullpen for the Braves, a 3.61 ERA coming in, 6th best in the National League.
The Braves have a balanced bullpen: 4 lefties, 4 righties. So that's a little more untraditional. the ability to use many of these arms, keep them fresh.
Two balls and no strikes to Prado. That's going to wait a second. Vizcaino, something in his eye. Mentioned the 6 for 7 in save opportunities since blowing his first save opportunity on the 11th of April. He's got an 0.82 ERA. 3-0 to Prado. Two and one. I guess he went around on that.
Really, the key to the Atlanta Braves bullpen is control and command. They walk hitters, they run into some trouble. See the breaking ball from Vizcaino. They actually lead going into, I think it was yesterday. You had the numbers. 83 walks. It was actually the most in Major League Baseball coming in. So one thing they've done well is keep the ball in the yard. They've only allowed 7 home runs.
Prado, right field line, and Freeman makes an over-the-shoulder basket catch for the second out.
Pretty impressive glove work at first base by Freddie Freeman. Did a nice job of getting back and then breaking it down, coming under control to make the basket catch with the right shoulder. Out number 2.
Not an easy play, but made it look like one. Starlin Castro, the last hope for the Marlins tonight. Another multi-hit game for Castro. A single in the first, a single in the 5th. His 11th multi-hit game this season. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Those 11 multi-hit games, tops on the club. Two more hits to give him 43 on the season. Awkwardly moves out of the way of that one.
A little attention getter there, 96 miles an hour underneath the hands of Starlin Castro. Starlin has a very active swing. He likes to get his hands working, his feet working as well, getting into his swing and jump out of the way. A little twinge in the middle of the back.
Still trying to work it out. Get some attention after the ball game. Marlins down to their final strike. Castro, a fly ball out to Acuna Jr. in left. And that's going to do it. As the Braves, with 2 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th, double up the Marlins tonight by a final count of 10-5 to take the first and third games of this 4-game series. Still much more to come here from Marlins Park. Marlins Live post-game show comes your way after the break. For Todd Hollingsworth and our crew, I'm Paul Severino. Stick around. Much more to come.